You ever stumble across a fan game that just gets it? Like, it captures the spirit of Call of Duty Zombies, but spins it in a way you never expected. That's exactly what happened when I found a game called Ghoul Grounds, a fan-made zombies experience built entirely inside S&Box. Now, for anyone who hasn't heard of it, S&Box is basically the next evolution of Garry's mod, a new sandbox platform developed by the same developer. The best way I can personally describe it is like a more advanced, high-quality version of Roblox. It's a place where creators can build almost anything they want. So naturally, someone decided to recreate the magic of Call of Duty Zombies in it, and that's where Ghoul Grounds comes in. It's described as a wave-based zombie survival game with a unique style inspired by Ed, and Eddy, and crappy MS Paint style doodles. The moment I read that, I knew it was something I had to check out. Those early 2000s Cartoon Network shows had a weird, chaotic energy that stuck with me, and seeing a game channel that kind of vibe instantly caught my attention. When I first loaded into the game, I honestly didn't know what to expect. It had this almost nostalgic feeling, like stepping into an old cartoon you forgot you loved, even though I've never seen this game in my life. The menu alone looked like someone doodled it on notebook paper during detention, and somehow, that gave it personality. After setting up my character, which wasn't much, they had limited options since it is early access, I made this goofy little avatar that looked like somebody tried to draw me after 3 cans of Monster and no sleep. Perfect. So, nobody else was online, which meant I had to create my own lobby and play solo. But that's kind of my comfort zone anyways, especially when testing out new fan games. The map loaded and it instantly hit me. This was Knock, but not quite. The layout was familiar, but everything had been reimagined with sketchy outlines, rough textures, and constantly moving lines, like the world itself was vibrating. It wasn't just spooky, it was surreal. It gave off that Ed, and Eddy on too much caffeine energy I didn't know I needed. The first few minutes, I just explored. You know how it is. When you jump into a new zombie style game, you want to learn the map, the flow, how it feels. I was relieved to see controller support was working, because if I had to play on mouse and keyboard, this gameplay would almost be scrapped. I am horrible on mouse and keyboard. The movement felt smooth, but slightly exaggerated. It was almost too fast, like the camera couldn't keep up. And for a moment, I genuinely thought I was going to get motion sick, but it fit. The art style and movement felt alive, and it made me feel like I was in a moving cartoon painting. Then came the first wave. The ghouls, as they're called in this game, stumbled out in all directions. Their designs were wild. One looked like a melted crayon, and they had clowns. It was hilarious to see but unsettling at the same time. I started shooting, panicking a little, because even though it looks goofy, the game hits hard. Ghouls are relentless, and you quickly learn that ignoring them is just not an option. At one point, I picked up this random beer can lying on a shelf, thinking it was a power-up. Immediately, my gun disappeared. I froze, thinking the game bugged out. But nope, it turns out that's the healing mechanic. Where'd my gun go, though? Hey, hey, hey. Hey, where my gun at, bro? The beer can refills your health but unequips your weapon while you drink, leaving you defenseless for a few seconds. It's genius. It's one of those simple but smart ideas that changes how you play. Every time I saw a beer can after that, I had to think, do I risk drinking this now? Or do I wait until I can retreat safely? The Halloween update adds an extra layer of atmosphere. The map is decorated with jack-o'-lanterns, purple fog, and little doodled streamers that look like they were drawn by a 5-year-old. And I mean that in the best way possible. It gives the whole place personality. It feels like playing zombies inside of a sketchbook during Halloween night. The lighting even flickers in weird hand-drawn pattern, giving everything that homemade charm. After a few rounds, I noticed something else. Unlimited ammo. At first I thought this was a bug, but it was clearly intentional. It balances out the difficulty because these ghouls don't let up. They keep coming from every direction, and some are straight up terrifying in how unpredictable they move. Rebuilding barriers works differently here too. You can't just stand against the window and hold the button. You have to directly look at the window while you repair it. It sounds small, but it makes a big difference when you're under pressure. You can't just autopilot repairs like in normal zombies. You have to commit to it. The first few times I've tried, I got smacked from behind by a ghoul mid-repair. Lesson learned. By this point, I figured out the flow of things. Explore, hold down a room, grab beer cans carefully, and pray you don't get cornered by clowns. The movement system is smooth, but twitchy enough to keep you on edge. You can strafe quickly, but overcorrect once, and you're face to face with a ghoul that looks like it was drawn by a toddler with night terrors. One of my favorite things about Ghoul Grounds is how it manages to feel chaotic and controlled at the same time. It's messy, sure, but intentionally so. It embraces that crappy art aesthetic to build something cohesive. It's like the game is constantly reminding you not to take it too seriously, even though it is absolutely trying to kill you. There's this self-awareness to it. Like the developers know exactly how they're parroting, but still want to make something genuinely fun. Between rounds, I caught myself admiring the little environmental details. The flickering doodled lights, the animated pumpkins, the graffiti-like sketches across the wall. It all builds this atmosphere that's both funny and creepy, and that's not easy to pull off. After dying a few times, okay, several times, I realized how the beer mechanic creates real tension. You're forced to think tactically. Heal too soon, and you might die mid-drink. Heal too late, and you're already surrounded. It's this fine line between bravery and stupidity, and I walked it constantly. It reminded me of how old zombies used to punish you for overconfidence. It's one of the few fan games I've played that captures the classic COD tension while still having its own personality. Midway through my play session, I started experimenting rebuilding barriers in between waves, and see if there was any hidden interactions. I even tried standing still for a while, thinking maybe an Easter egg would trigger. Nothing did, but it did give me time to appreciate how the environment never really stands still. The constant sketch-like motion makes you feel like you are inside a living drawing. Eventually, I got into a rhythm, grab beer cans between rounds, rebuild strategies, and stay mobile. It's funny because even though the art style looks like it was drawn on a napkin, the gameplay design is way more thoughtful than it may appear. It's like if someone made a joke mod but accidentally built something genuinely engaging. And that's what I love about fan games like this. They're made by people who get it. They understand what makes the source material special, and twist it in a way that makes it personal. Ghoul Grounds feels like a love letter to Call of Duty Zombies and early 2000s cartoons, rolled into one. It's nostalgic, it's weird, and it's creative in all of the right ways. As I wrap up my session with Ghoul Grounds, I can't help but to feel genuinely satisfied. Even though it's still very early access, and it's just a fan project, it managed to capture the chaos, the tension, and nostalgia that makes COD Zombies so memorable. The quirky art style, the unpredictable ghouls, and even the simple but clever beer can healing mechanic kept everything interesting. It's messy, fun, challenging, all at once, a combination that somehow works perfectly. Fan games like this are a reminder of how creative the gaming community can be. Developers take inspiration from classics, remix them in their own style, and create experiences that both feel familiar and fresh. Ghoul Grounds isn't just a tribute to zombies, it's a tribute to imagination, humor, and the joy of experimentation. Before ending this video, here's a quick selfish plug. I'm now a Dubby affiliate, so if you like energy tubs or want a better caffeine source for long-term gaming or editing sessions, you can use my code to get 10% off your next order. It's a solid source of energy for me, and I highly recommend it. But at the end of the day, I'm glad I spent time on this game. If you're a fan of COD Zombies, early 2000s cartoons, or just want to try something weird, Ghoul Grounds is definitely worth checking out. Thanks for watching, and as always, let me know in the comments if there are any other fan projects you would like me to do a deep dive into. I love seeing what the community is creating, and I hope I see you in the next video. Peace!